Okay, so welcome everyone to week 8, I think it is, of Being Present with Leonard. And during the first 7 episodes of Being Present with Leonard, I outlined the 2 steps of this teaching, both briefly but also quite thoroughly. So, okay, more technical issues, but each time I have a technical issue, I get a little more skilled at this. I've got things popping up on my screen which should not be popping up. Anyway, as I was saying, I did share with you the 2 steps of this teaching over 7 episodes, and I hope that that's been helpful to you and clear and direct. It really is a very simple and direct teaching, and a very direct and simple way of awakening, capital W for way, a way of awakening. And the truth is, we all need very clear guidance on our journey of awakening. Now, I've completed the teaching in those 7 episodes. So now in the future, when I do these live streams, I'll simply be focusing on a particular topic, which I think will be helpful to everyone viewing and helpful to anyone on a path of awakening. So the topic I'm going to speak about is judgment. And it is one of the most important topics to be discussed in relation to our awakening. And it's quite complex. But let me begin by saying that judgment, the judgment more than any other energy, will keep you in the dream. It will keep you in the separation. It will keep you out of the truth of life, the truth of love, the truth of who you are, and the truth of God. It'll just keep you separate. Whenever you judge, whenever judgment arises within you and you're judging either yourself, others, or something happening in your life, if you're judging, then you will be taken instantly out of presence and you'll be held in the world of the mind, the dream, the story, until you release that judgment and stop believing in it. We really could go back to the very, very beginning of time, because it was judgment. It was our judgment at that very moment when time began, when there was a shift from oneness to duality, when there was a shift from oneness into separation. We didn't like it and we judged it, which was our mistake. We should never have judged it, but we judged it because it felt separate from God. That was a mistake, but I'll explain that in a later episode. We judged the separation from God. We judged that movement into duality. We did not like it. The moment we judged the separation, or what we thought was separation, what we experienced as being separate from God, the moment we judged it, we locked ourselves into that dimension of consciousness, which is based in separation, which is the world of the mind, the world of the ego, the past and future, separate from the present moment, separate from love, truth, oneness, and God. That's what happened in the very, very beginning of our journey as souls over many, many, many lifetimes. Judgment was what took us out of oneness and held us in the separation, and it's still doing it. Humanity is so caught in the energy of judgment. We are so constantly judging. We're judging ourselves in all sorts of harmful ways. We're judging others, which is really a violation of others. We're judging things that happen in our lives, even the death of a loved one or something, losing a job, something like that. We judge that event that's occurring within our life. And the very act of judging brings us into the separation, keeps us in the separation. We've been caught in judgment pretty much every lifetime from the beginning of time. Now, some of us, of course, have managed to free ourselves from judgment. Some of us are much less judgmental than others, which is a great blessing. The less judgmental you are of yourself and others, the more happy and loving you're going to feel. Judgment is a destructive energy. It's really an energy of annihilation. You see, when you criticize yourself or you criticize someone, it's very strategic. You're seeking to criticize someone to make them feel smaller, which makes you look bigger, makes you feel bigger. So a criticism is designed to make another smaller, less than, which makes you more than. And there's a certain ego satisfaction in that, if I can put it that way. So, so we have to learn how to free ourselves from judgment. Judgment will keep us forever in the dream, governed by the ego. So the question then arises, well, how do we free ourselves from judgment? And it's very, very simple. The first thing I would say is you do not judge judgment. If you judge judgment, in other words, you think you shouldn't be judging, you're judging yourself for judging, you're judging judgment, then it's like a double whammy. You're just amplifying the energy of judgment, which keeps you even more imprisoned within the world of the mind, the past and future. So, so you don't want to be judging the energy of judgment. So what do we do then? If we're not judging judgment, if we're not trying to get rid of judgment, if we're not trying to stop judgment, if we're not judging judgment, what do we do? How do we free ourselves from judgment, which will open the door to oneness? How do we free ourselves? The answer is so simple. You just go like this. When you notice yourself judging, when you notice judgment arising, you just go, judging. You don't do anything more than that. You own, you acknowledge, you confess in rather a playful way. Judging, I see you. I see you judging. Judgment, I see you. I love you. I don't believe in you, but I will not reject you or judge you. Thank you. You're free to stay. You're welcome to stay. Judge as much as you like. Just don't ask me to reject your judgment, and don't ask me to believe in you. That's not going to happen. But I will acknowledge you. I'll even send you some love, no problem. Now let's talk a little bit more about judgment and the way the mind and the ego controls you through judgment. How does the energy of judgment arise within you? It's so simple. All the ego has to do is generate a thought with the theme of judgment. In the thought, there's judgment of someone or something, including yourself. There's an energy of judgment. Now, the thought of judgment is followed by or associated with a subtle feeling of judgment. So the thought and the feeling are usually enough to catch you. You believe in what judgment is saying. You believe in the story woven into the judgmental thought that's arising and the feeling associated with that thought. It's designed to catch you. So you have to be more present and more aware so you cannot get caught. You catch it. Judging, that's all. You're not trying to get rid of judgment. You're just acknowledging it. Judging, I see you. Judging, I don't reject you. I don't believe in you. I love you because I am love. It's kind of like that. It's friendly. You know, from presence, you are the friend. You're the friend to your ego. You're the friend to your thoughts. You're the friend to any energy of judgment that might arise. Now, it's the same principle that applies. Say the ego generates a thought of blame, and blame is desired, the energy of blame, the thought of blame, with an associated feeling of blame, that's designed to pull you into the past. So if you believe in it, what the script is within that thought, if you believe in the story within that thought, you're going to get caught in the dream again. So what do? Same as with judgment. You just go blaming. I see you blame. You're okay. Love you too. No problem. I don't reject you. I don't believe in you. Thank you. Then back to presence. Always back to presence. So slowly, you'll become more and more masterful at recognizing judgment as it arises within you and not rejecting it, not trying to fix anything, not judging judgment, not believing in judgment, but simply acknowledging judgment. Judging, blaming, guilty, thinking. It really doesn't matter what it is. From presence, everything is acknowledged and revealed with love, acceptance, and compassion. no judgment of judgment. So I think that's enough on that topic, but it's very, very important in the context of awakening. It's one of the keys to awakening. As you become more and more present, that makes it possible for you to be a witness to judgment as it arises, to say judging, and then slowly judgment will leave you. It won't be interested in you anymore. It'll look for someone else willing to judge because it recognizes you're not buying into the energy of judgment anymore. You're not rejecting it, but you're not believing in it. That's the correct approach to transcending judgment as you become more and more present. Okay, so I think that's enough on judgment. I have some questions that have been submitted to me. And if you would like to ask a question and you'd like me to answer the question in next week's episode, all you have to do is email your question to leonardjacobson.com/questions. If you can't find that, just register for our email list and post your question. We will find it. So the first question is from Ray from California. Ray writes, Leonard, I'm greatly enjoying the video series on being present with Leonard. I'm regularly practicing being present with my environment, and it is becoming more natural. That's great, Ray. I'm glad to hear it, and thank you for sharing that. I have a question, he goes on to say. Is it possible to be in presence while watching you on the video, either live stream or replay? How about other media over the internet? Thank you so much, Ray. Okay, so first of all, I would say, I hope you're present as you're watching me on video. I hope you're present in this moment. You just have to be aware of your body breathing as you watch me. You don't need to concentrate on that, but just be aware that you're here. You're here with me as I appear on your video screen. You are here. I am here. Of course, there can be a tremendous opening into oneness over the internet in this moment. I am present on your screen. You are present. Well, I can't see you, so I'm going to assume you're present. I'm going to feel into your presence. In a sense, your presence it really exists in this moment for me in the camera. I'm simply very present with the camera as I look into it. And by being present with the camera, then I will be present with you as my image appears on your computer screen or your iPhone or whatever you're watching on. So yes, just relax. You don't have to remember what I say. You don't have to understand what I say. Just be present as I say it. I can't tell you anything that you don't already know. But it is known in presence. It's known in silence. It's not accessible from within the mind. So really what I'm showing you is how to access the truth that exists eternally within you. It always has, it always will, this truth, because you're already a fully awakened being. In this moment, you are a fully awakened being. You always have been, you always will be. But what happened then? What happened is you went too far into the dream. And if you go too far into the dream, you will disconnect from the truth that is ever present here in this moment. And at the center of your being, the truth of who you are. You disconnect from it all, then you get lost in this dream with all those things that exist within the dream, the limiting beliefs, the judgments, the repressed feelings, etc., etc. Then you don't like the dream, you try and either fix the dream, which takes you further into the dream, or you try and escape the dream, which takes you further into the dream. It's kind of a mess we've gotten ourselves into as humans living upon this planet. But it's easy to come out of the mess. Step one, step two, bring yourself present in this moment. Your body is breathing. Somebody is calling me and I don't know why. So bring yourself present in this moment. Present with your body breathing. Present with my face if you're looking at my face in this moment. Present with the sound of my voice if I'm speaking. You're just present with what is here. It's so simple. And you can be very, very beautifully present over the internet. I experience it all the time when I'm doing private sessions on Zoom. I could be doing a Zoom session with someone and they're dissolving into light on my computer screen. It's just so beautiful because the truth of who they are is beginning to be revealed. And it's revealed on the screen. I can see it. People can almost disappear into light as I'm looking at them and talking to them, or they're talking to me in one of these sessions. It's really quite remarkable. Of course, that happens in person as well, or more so, but it definitely can happen over the internet on the computer screen. So hopefully everyone is really present in this moment, everyone watching. Don't have an opinion. Don't agree with me or disagree. Just be here. Your body is breathing. Your feet are touching the floor. You can be present with what you see, present with what you hear. You can be present in the movement of your body. You know, we humans are so unconscious usually in the movement of our body. We're just so unconscious. It's incredible. Whereas as you become more and more present, you can bring a deepening into presence just by moving in presence. It looks a little bit like Tai Chi without the structure. So same with other media. I guess it depends on what media it is. But you can be present watching TV. Just don't get too involved. Enjoy the show, and when it's over, turn it off and continue being deeply present. So I don't see any problem with that, although it does depend on what you're watching. I'll give you an example. Just recently, I watched a movie on Apple TV called The Black Stallion. It's an old movie starring Mickey Rooney, and it's about this magnificent horse. Well, I'm watching this movie, which was beautiful. The theme was beautiful, the story was beautiful, the characters were beautiful, the horse you could not help but fall madly in love with. So I had the most beautiful experience watching a movie called The Black Stallion. So it does depend a little bit upon which media you're watching. It's the same with listening to music. You can be very present listening to music. The music will take you even deeper into presence. Or other music will disturb you and take you out of presence. It depends on the media. But I can promise you, you will know. It doesn't. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to identify what takes you into presence at a deeper level and what pulls you out. It's really that simple. Next question is from Judita from New Zealand. Hi Leonard, what do you mean by not revealing what we bring to consciousness to an unconscious person? I said that in one of the past episodes, and I often say that in my live events when in person. So it's wonderful to bring to consciousness all your every aspect of dysfunction within the dream. Who are you in the dream? How do you get caught in the dream? Talk about the judgment that arises within the dream, the anger, the repressed feelings, the hurt, the sadness, the competition, everything, the lack of love, the need for love, all of it, all existing within the dream. Now, if you want to awaken, you have to bring it all to consciousness. You have to own, acknowledge, and confess and reveal every aspect of unconsciousness within you. Who have you become lost in the dream? But why would I say don't share and reveal any of this to people who are not present? The answer is very simple. They'll either judge you, they'll think there's something wrong with you, they won't understand, or even worse, they'll try and help you. And the last thing you need is anyone to help you. You're helping yourself by owning, acknowledging, confessing, and revealing every aspect of unconsciousness within you, or everything that comes into your conscious awareness from that unconscious world. So if you can't, or you shouldn't, it's not wise to confess to unconscious humans. Who should you confess to? The answer is so simple. Confess to a tree. Confess to a little plant or a flower in your room or on your desk. Stand in front of the mirror, become very present, and confess to the mirror, to yourself in the mirror. Confess to God, who exists at the very heart of silence, at the center of your being. You can speak to God. If you speak to a tree, you're actually speaking to God in the form of a tree, if you confess to a tree. But you can confess, to God who exists at the very center of your being, but speak the words aloud. If you don't speak the words aloud, it's too much like thinking. But when you speak the words aloud, it's not thinking, you're expressing, you're sharing. That's what thinking is. Thinking is constantly talking to yourself, but you keep it quiet, you keep it hidden. You know, if you see a person walking along the road and they're talking aloud to themselves very loud, they're not on the phone or anything, they're just speaking aloud to themselves, you would say that person is a bit crazy. They've lost the plot. Well, I've got news for you. What do you think thinking is? Thinking is talking to yourself, talking constantly to no one in particular, mostly to yourself or to no one, but we've learned to keep it hidden. Big mistake. God should have created us with a little window here that everyone can see what you're thinking and hear what you're thinking, and I guarantee you would stop thinking within about 3 minutes. You'd give it up because you don't want anyone to know these crazy thoughts that go on in your mind constantly. Thoughts of self-doubt, thoughts of judgment, thoughts of anger, thoughts of blame, thoughts of hope, thoughts of desire, thoughts of fear, thoughts of whatever. I think you get what I'm saying. So there's many wonderful beings to confess to. And if you happen to have a friend or someone that you know who can be very present, confess to them. It's so simple. And your friend who's been present with you as you confess, they shouldn't say one word. They should just at the end of it say, thank you for your confession. And they should recognize the courage that you are displaying in confessing and revealing these aspects of yourself that are from within the dream. All the limiting beliefs, the repressed feelings, the judgments, the ego, losing yourself in others, etc. So confess to, if you can find someone who's present, that's great. And it's very healing. Okay, so I think I've answered that question. The last question is from Michelle from New York. It has been said by many non-duality teachers that all thoughts are not true. What about a thought regarding the present moment? You look out the window, see the rain and say, it's raining out. What about that? Okay, that's really a good question. And I will confirm what the non-duality teachers are saying. Not one thought you have about anything is the truth. Not one opinion you have about anything is the truth. Not one belief you have about anything is the truth. Even if you believe you're a man or a woman, that's not the truth. There's a much deeper level of truth to you. So even that's not the truth. Whatever you think is not the truth. It's a reflection of the truth. It's a memory of the truth. It's a hope. It's a hope for the truth, but it's not the truth. So what is the truth? Where is the truth? It's not in the past and future world of the mind. It's not in your memories or your imaginings. It's not in your concepts and beliefs. It's not in any of that. Then where is it? It's in the present moment. You fully present with what is here. Not one thought, not one word spoken, just you utterly present and immersed in the moment of now. That's as close as you will ever get to the truth. Your mind will be silent. You will feel this amazing sense of silence and peace. And whatever arises after that is not really your business. It's God's business. Just give thanks. Say, thank you, God. This is beautiful. I love this. Tell the trees how beautiful they are. Tell the sky. Tell the birds soaring across the sky. Let yourself be amazed. You know, there was a big festival in my local town here in Minnesota. And so I went for a walk a couple of times, very crowded, beautiful fair, like a fair. And lots of kids and lots of people, lots of families, lots of dogs, lots of babies. So I went for a walk, but my primary focus as I was walking and being present was the children. They're just so adorable. And they're all playing on these rides and all excited and having fun. It really felt to me in that moment that everyone I was witnessing and seeing were visitors from heaven. That's what it felt like. And I was in such an exalted state, just being present with children, just watching them, not having thoughts, just being present with them. It opens you up. Be present with a flower or a tree or a child or a dog. Let yourself be amazed, because that is what will happen when you come out of the maze. That is the world of the mind. You will be amazed. It's amazing where we really are, who we really are, and what we're really doing here. Now, so I'm going to just conclude that part of it by saying, yes, it's true, thoughts are not true. That's correct. Now, what about an innocent thought like you're looking out the window, you're present, it's raining, you know it's raining, you sense it, you know it. And then the thought arises, it's raining out. Well, that's still a thought, and it's not arising from the present moment. You cannot think about the present moment. It's not possible. You cannot think about the present moment. In order to think about the present moment, you have to leave it. Even if it's a split second, and in leaving it for a split second, the thought arises, it's raining out. What I would say with that thought is, I would say, yes, very good thought, thank you. Back to presence, back to the experience of the present moment experience of it's raining out. Feel the rain, hear the rain, be present with the rain, be present with whatever's in front of you. Enjoy it. Just the very awareness and experience of rain could be the most exalted experience. I remember one time during my first awakening in 1981, many years ago, long before many of you were born. Well, some of you, maybe a few of you. I remember going for a long, long walk, and it started to rain. The heavens opened up, and it was raining so heavily. My first thought was, oh, I'll catch a cold if I'm in the rain. That's what my mother told me. And then immediately I said, no, not true. Let it go. And did I have a good time in the rain? I celebrated the rain. I walked in the rain for at least an hour and a half or 2 hours. I was completely drenched all the way through and loved every moment of it. So don't buy into your thoughts and your beliefs about anything. You don't know until you experience it. Okay, so I must say, though, that thought, it's raining out, is fairly harmless. It's not going to disturb you from being present. Don't give it too much attention. Don't reject it, and don't believe it's fine. It's raining out. I would say thank you. Great thought. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Back to presence. You see, what I'm doing is constantly maintaining an energy of friendliness towards whatever shows up, an energy of love and acceptance, compassion to whatever shows up, but I'm not rejecting it or believing in it. I'm kind of neutral to whatever shows up from within the mind or in the form of thought. One final thing I will say in this episode, I have no idea how long I've been talking. Okay, probably too long. One final thought. Now I've forgotten what the final thought was. I interrupted myself. I interrupted my flow. So forgive me for that. A couple of things I want to share with you before we finish up. If you're enjoying these episodes, if you're enjoying being present with Leonard, and this might appear like marketing, but I'm actually sharing this with you because I really truly believe it will be helpful for you. But this book here, Journey into Now, is probably showing up back to front on the screen. This book here, Journey into Now, contains my teaching in step by step, like a roadmap home. And by reading this book, it will make these episodes much, much clearer for you. It's like a companion to these episodes. So that's advertisement number one. Advertisement number two. Many of you are not aware of this, but this book, actually, if it's probably backwards, it says Liberating Jesus. What would Jesus say if he returned today? This is really a book based on the play and film called Liberating Jesus, which you can watch on my website. Just go to leonardjacobson.com/Liberating Jesus. And it's there for everybody to watch free. Okay? Now, this is not a book to be read by devout Christians, But if you're a lapsed Christian or you're looking for a deeper view or a different view of Jesus, it's very honoring of Jesus, but in a different way. Okay, so that's another possibility for you if you're interested. If you do buy any of my books on Amazon, I would very much appreciate you do a rating and a review, hopefully positive. Okay, folks, so don't forget to subscribe and post a comment. I'd like you to know that I read all your comments and I very much enjoy reading the comments. Love to everyone, blessings to everyone, and let us continue together on our journey of awakening. Come, join me in this field of presence. There are flowers everywhere.